Right. Another accounting standard we are going to discuss now. LKS 37, provision, contingent liabilities and contingent asset. So very practical standard and very common standard we are using in accounting, right? So then the areas, this LKS 37 covers a few areas in case of accounting, that means provisions, contingent liabilities and contingent asset. Right. Objective mentioned in this standard. Objective of this LKS 37 is to ensure appropriate recognition criteria and measures related to provision, contingent liability and contingent asset, right? So then the sufficient information as per the TUT, the disclose in the note to the financial statement enable that nature, timing and the amount, right? Then scope given. Normally you know that this entire accounting standard we can't apply for all provision, contingent liability and contingent asset, because there are some other standard which sometimes it cover some other areas of the accounting, right? So that's the few. So here it's explained about the scope of this standard. You can read, right? Now the definition, right? I will take first out of this LKS 37 the provision. Provision, right? This is the main area we want to discuss in this standard, right? The provision. The provision, you know that what is the meaning of provision first. So what are the example you know regarding provision? Because you know that always the provisions we are using in accounting, right? We are providing in case of some expenses, right? Provision. So the normal example, you know that the provision for bad debt provision, we call doubtful debt provision, right? For in case of depreciation also we are providing as accumulated depreciation, right? We can identify. So sometimes in case of stock, inventories, right? Inventories also we can make some provision because of by looking at some future losses regarding this in case of inventory. So another thing, the provision is what? I would like to ask that provision, how you can classify whether that provision is an asset or expenditure or liability or income or equity. Because the first you should understand the provision is what? Because of the element of accounting we are using. So what element that you can classify the provision? Because good example is, you know that all provisions you can identify in your credit side, not in debit side. For example, provision for doubtful debt, right? Provision for debtors. When you are going to provide for the debtors, you know that debtor account debit, the provision account credit. That means doubtful debt expense debit, provision for doubtful debt is credit, right? The provision account always consider in credit side. So therefore, the provision we can identify out of these 5 elements, the provision is an liability. Right? Provision always in liability side, in credit side. Right. Now I want to know if the provision is related to liability, then what are the example? We should know what is the relationship between the provision and liability. First I want to know, after completing this the discussion about LKS 37, you may identify what is the relationship between these terms. Number 1, provision. Then liability. Then contingent liability. Right? because these are the areas now we are going to discuss in this LKS 37. So then after completing after the completion of the discussion of this LKS 37, you may understand what is the relationship between these three terms: provision, liability and contingent liability. Right? Then first we want to discuss what is the difference between liability and provision. Right? If the provision is a liability, then why some items and also some items in balance sheet we should classify it separately as a provision, right? So then what are the example for liabilities? Yes, liabilities, you can go to the balance sheet in liability side, non-current liability and current liability, right? Non-current liability, we can identify the liabilities that we want to settle more than 1 year accounting period. The liabilities that we have to settle after 1 year period, we can classify it as a long-term liabilities. That means bank loan, lease, creditors, right? So then debentures, we can identify as a famous long-term debt. But in short-term debt, that means current liability, the creditors, accrued expenses, short-term loan, overdraft facilities, we can identify. But clearly we know that creditor is a liability, bank loan is a liability, accrued expenses is a liability, that means all payables. Then without any doubt we can say yes, creditor liability, accrued expense is a liability, and any debenture or bank loan, lease creditor is a liability. Then what is the difference between liability and provision? Then you should know what is the meaning of then provision, what are the recognition criteria related to provision, and also the liability. First I will take the liability, then very easy to identify the difference between liability and provision. Yes, according to the definition given in accounting, right, what is the meaning of liability, right? To create the liability in accounting, right, few conditions should be satisfied. Number one, liability, you know that is an obligation. You are liable to pay, right? It's a liability. You are liable to pay for another party. Therefore, why now there is a liability for you? Why there is a creditor? I will take the example first. Why there is a creditor? As at 31st March 2020, in your balance sheet, under current liability, there is a balance creditor. Creditor 5 million amount, right? If you analyze this 5 million creditor, yes, you can take the breakup of this 5 million, right? You have creditor list, 100 creditors are there with the different value. Right, you have taken. Why there is a creditor? The total amount 5 million, it include for 10 over 100 creditors with some amount. Right, out of that creditors you can identify some significant creditors also based on the value. Right, now why there is a creditor? Because creditor has created at the particular date in your balance sheet because you have purchased the item on credit basis. Right, you have purchased during the period, during the financial period, or before the financial period, you have purchased some item from the outside, purchased sometimes goods or service, then still you have not paid that amount to those parties. Then unsettled amount, unpaid amount, we should identify as the creditors. Then why there is a 5 million amount as a creditor in your account? Because now you have obligation to pay this, because what is the reason? In past you have purchased some goods or service from these people. Then we can say yes, to create the liability in our account there should be a present obligation. What is the present obligation? Example, creditor 5 million, there is an amount to pay. There is a 5 million amount payable to my creditors. This is the present obligation. Why there is a 5 million creditor amount in my account? Because the past event is what? Over the period I have purchased goods and services on credit basis. So therefore first condition should be satisfied to create the creditor in my accounts is what? To create the liability, there should be a present obligation. Present obligation. Present obligation as a result of past event. Present obligation as a result of past event. Right. Example is, in my balance sheet there is a creditor rupees 5 million amount. Right. So then, yes, the settlement, now you know that when you are going to settle, yes, you have to settle this, because all this amount you have taken subject to agreement, right? Otherwise the outside people, they are not giving goods and services on credit basis for you, right? Sometimes without any agreement. Why these people has provided, has sold this item or goods or services on credit basis for you? Sometimes all part of these items that you have purchased subject to some agreement, written agreement. Sometimes without agreement also they have sold some item to you on credit basis. Why? Because of good relationship, because of your business name. They know that even though without any written agreement, yes, this amount you will settle during that given period, right, according to their past practice, right? Sometimes if you analyze this your credit purchase, yes, the sum amount included this 5 million, you want to settle within 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, like that, normal credit period we want to apply. So then during that, before the mature, you want to pay this amount. Now you have present obligation as a result of the past event. Then what is the past event? Because you have purchased on items and has taken the service on credit basis. Now you are liable to pay 5 million amount. Right. Then you know that you have to settle this within that given period of time. Yes. As at 31st March 2020, there is an amount to pay. But when you are going to settle this amount, there is a cash outflow from your company. Right? There is a cash outflow because you want to settle most of the time in cash. You have to issue the check. Then your bank balance going to reduce. Otherwise, you want to settle in cash. Right? So sometimes if you are not going to settle in cash or bank amount or check, right, you have to provide your own asset to them. Right? So finally we can see there is a cash outflow from your company when you are going to settle this obligation, right? So the second criteria we can identify in case of liabilities, but settlement of the settlement in case of settlement, there is a outflow from the entity of resources embodying economic benefits. Right. So then liability is what? There is a present obligation as a result of the past event. the settlement of which expected to result in outflow from the resources embodied in the economic benefit, right? Then we can say yes, is an liability. Then another thing, right? So the definition given, okay, there is a present obligation as a result of the past event, then definitely you have to settle this obligation, you have to settle this amount, then by what? How? The resources from economic benefit in your company. The resources mean most of the time cash or checks you have to issue, there is economic value from you, right? So then another point you can identify, yes, you have clear evidence. In case of liability, another important thing you should understand, you have 100% sure evidence regarding this creditor's amount, right? So, for example, you have clear invoice and you have purchase order value. The orders, first you have to sign the agreement with them for each transaction. We call in practice those agreement are the purchase orders. You have to provide the purchase order for them. Then only they are sending the items and the service on credit basis. Then purchase order is the agreement, right? So then that amount and the time of settlement are clearly mentioned. So therefore any obligation become a liability in accounting, right? The amount and the time should be 100% clear, right? You should know without any doubt, amount should be 100% sure, and date also very clear for the settlement, right? Then it become liability, because you know that you have identified creditor as a 5 million amount. Yes, you have all the evidence to prove this 5 million that you have obligation to settle, right? So therefore another important thing you should understand, in case of liability, the amount and time of settlement, right, certain, is always certain and very we can say very accurate, right? Then only we can say is a liability, right? Then this is the definition of liability. If there should be a present obligation as a result of the past event, when you are going to settle this, there is a cash outflow from the entity, and also that may be cash or check or another asset you have to pay, you have to give for them to settle these liabilities. And another very important thing, right, very clearly classified in your balance sheet as a liability, the amount and the time of the settlement should be certain, 100% sure. Then only we can say yes, is a liability, right? So then now come to the provision. I have explained now what is the meaning of liability with example and what are the characteristics of a liability that we can identify. Now come to the provision. Now it is very easy you to understand the difference between the liability and the provision. Now take the provision as example. So what is the very good example you can say for the provision? The example for the provision we can identify in practice: warranty for goods and services. Another example, gratuity provision, right? Okay, right. Warranty, what is the meaning of warranty? Or we call guarantee or warranty. Normally we are using the warranty for the goods. For example, you have, when you are going to purchase normally electric item, some electric items you can, the supplier providing some warranty for you with the subject to some conditions, right? Let's say you are going to purchase some television or radio from the supplier. So then at the time of the purchase, he may grant some warranty for you for a 1 year period. So what are the warranty cover? Normally without any physical damage, if there is a damage in inside, right? So yes, they will repair and they will replace new one for you, right? For a physical damage, they are not going to provide any warranty, but in any inside damage, right? So software damage, or then you can claim, right? So then they are giving the guarantee for you if something happened for a particular period. Normally it may be 6-month period or 1 year period, right? Depend on that asset, depend on that goods or services, they will provide the warranty period. During that period, subject to some condition, yes, you can ask the claim from them, right? Then you know that if you are the seller, then when you sell that item to the customer, you have given the warranty for them, right? Then because of that warranty, then you are liable if anybody come with repairs, right? Any inside damage of that item, then you are liable to, because of that warranty issued by you at the time of the sale, you have obligation to repair that item free of charge or replace with new one free of charge, because the items comes with repairs, or that repair may be major repair or minor repair, then you have to incur some cost to to complete that repairs, right? You have to solve that problem. So then in your side you have to incur the cost, right? So then to complete the repair job, sometimes you have to allocate some labors, right? You have to incur some labor charges and overhead expenses, sometimes spare parts you have to provide. All these are sometimes free of charge. Then you have to incur some cost. Then you have the obligation, if anybody come with your customers who come with the repairs, major or minor, then you have to do it with the free of charge. That is the warranty. Then after you selling the items with the warranty, you know that you have the sometimes how you can identify the cost. You don't know. You have issued the item warranty for the items for the 1 year period. Then during that period, if anybody come, you have to do this repairs and services. So, but you don't know. Out of that, let's see, for example, during the financial period, in case of warranty, I will take warranty. Warranty, yes. During the period, sold 100 items with 1 year warranty period. Okay, 100 items sold with 1 year warranty period, right? Okay, so then 1 year warranty period, we will take this here. Sold 100 items with 1 year warranty, right? Then you know that when you have sold this item with the 1 year warranty, right? Right? So then anybody come with this during this period, you have to you have the obligation to do this all repairs and replacement free of charge. Then but at the end of the financial period, now you have sold item during financial period from 1st of January 2020 1st of January 2019 to 31st December 2019 period, right? So then what happened? At the end of the, you want to know, as at 31st December 2019, right? Now, during this financial period, you have sold 100 items. Then you don't know at the end of the financial period, out of these 100 items, how many items will come with repairs, with the major or minor repairs or replacement. We don't know, subject to warranty. But you have the liability. That is the thing I want to explain you, right? Now, during this 2019 financial period, you have sold 100 items to customers with the warranty. But we don't know after sale how many items will come to you with the repairs. Out of that repairs also, minor repairs or major repairs, we don't know. But if any item come with warranty, you want to do all these repairs, you want to clear with free of charge. Then, but as at the end of the date, at the end of the 31st March, at the end of the financial period, because of this warranty given, what is the cost related to this 100 items, we don't know. It is not practice, right? Out of these 100 items, sometimes 10 items, 20 items, 5 items, or no items. All are very good items, no warranty. But we can't sure. We don't know. Therefore, what happened? But there is an obligation. Then we know that, yes, there are some certain situations, right? We have created some obligation, right? It has created some obligation for us. But that obligation will create, when it will create, or what is the amount of that obligation, we don't know. That's why I told you, even though you sold 100 items, we don't know out of that 100 items, how many items will come with the repairs, subject to warranty. Then if it is come, I want to incur the cost, free of charge. It is a real cost for me. But we don't know what is the amount, when it will come. Time is not sure. But there is an obligation. That is the nature of warranty. Come to the gratuity. Gratuity cost. Why there is a gratuity? Because of the labor law, because it's clearly mentioned gratuity. Gratuity means what? So then any employee who work in the organization over 5 years period time, it is a government law, right? So there is a legal obligation to you. When you are run with the business, when you are recruiting the employees, right? So then any employee who work over 5 years time period with you continuously, then you have to pay gratuity for that employee, right? At the time of the retirement or resignation. So then, let's see, as at 31st December 2019, right? Working 100 employees. Out of this 100, 20, let's see, 30 employees service period. Employees service period over 5 years. No, over 5 years. Now what happened? Yes, currently as at 31st December 2019, 100 employees are there in our organization. Out of these 100 employees, 30 employees working over 5 years period. Some employees are there 10 years. Some employees 8 years, 7 years, 6 years. Then another employees as at 31st December just complete 5 years. But entire out of this, any employee out of this 30, right, retire. After 31st December, we have obligation to pay the gratuity. But we don't know, out of these 30 employees, how many employees will retire. Retire we can identify sometimes after completing 55 age, but resignation, at any time they can resign, right? So then there is obligation created by the government with gratuity law. Then any employee who work over 5 years time period, right, at the time of the retirement or resignation, we want to pay gratuity. But the time and the amount is not clear. That is the problem. Yes, currently we have the obligation to pay gratuity for the 30 employees, but condition is what? They should resign or retire, then only we should pay. But at the time, at any date after the 31st December 2009 they retire, we want to pay the gratuity. But amount and the time is not sure, right? So that's why, because of these are the real examples that we can identify in accounting, the related to the provision, right? Related to the provision. So therefore, the provision is what? Provision also, to identify the provision, there is a present obligation as a result of the past event. Yes, provision also, yes, there is a present obligation as a result of past event, right? Then we can say yes, provision is a part of the obligation, right? It's a liability. But what happened? Why the provision is not become a liability? Because in case of provision, the amount and time is not certain. We don't know. When this liability is created, what is the amount? We don't know. Take this always, these two examples. You have sold the item with warranty, but we don't know how many customers will come with the warranty, with the repairs, subject to warranty, we don't know. How many? What is the cost? We don't know. It will not occur still. And also, we have employees subject to gratuity. We are liable to pay gratuity for them, but gratuity should want to pay at the time of their resignation and also the retirement. But still we don't know when they will going to retire or resign. We don't know. We can't assume sometimes. We can't estimate. So then what happened? Because of that, we should identify the concept of this provision in order to do the accounting in relation to this type of events and the transaction. We call this an provision. Now you can understand the clear difference between provision and the liability. Yes, provision is also part of the liability. But what is the difference between provision and the liability? In case of the liability, we know what is the amount borne to pay, what is the settlement date, when we should pay, what is the amount. All are very clear, amount and the time is 100% sure. But in case of provision, example, warranty and the gratuity, right, there is a present obligation for us, but when it will occur, what is the amount is not sure. That's why we call is an provision, right? So that is the main difference between provision and the liability according to this LKS 37. So then there is a provision definition given. Provision is a liability and uncertain timing and the amount is not certain. That's why I call is an uncertain, not certain timing and the amount. Liability is what? Present obligation of the entity because of the past event, and the settlement it will take cash outflow from the entity embodying with the economic benefit, right? So then liability In case of liability, there is a present obligation as a result of the past event. Take the example creditor, right? Now you have 5 million creditor to settle because during the financial period you have purchased items, goods and the service on credit basis. Now next page is explain what is the difference between the provision and the liability. Very important. Provision can be distinguished from the liabilities such as the trade payable and accrual expenses because uncertainty about the timing and the amount of the future expenditure is required in settlement, right? Why there is a major difference is what? Provision also a liability. Then liability, why it is different between the why it is different from liability? Because amount and the timing it's not sure. Provisions are reported separately. Accrual are normally reported as a part of the trade and other payable. That is, even though provisions are type of liabilities, they can be clearly distinguished from the other liabilities due to the higher level of uncertainty. Yes, even though the provision is a part of the liability, in accounting we should separately identify the provision we should distinguish. We should separate from the liability because in case of provision, liability, in case of provision, amount and the timing is not sure. So therefore, according to this explanation and also criteria given in this LKS 37, provision we should recognize in our financial statement when the following criteria are satisfied. Now, according to the LKS 37, the recognition criteria for provision is the number 1, there should be present obligation as a result of past event. Second one, it is probable that an outflow of resources to settle the obligation, and number 3, there should be a reliable estimate. Yes, so therefore provision we need to record, no doubt. Provision we should record because liability we should identify in our balance sheet. We should we should pass the journal entry in case of liability, you know that, right? For example, at the time of the credit purchase, you know that the purchase account become debit and creditor become credit. But in case of the provision also, you must estimate the provision, right? That's why we should discuss the recognition criteria related to provision, right? So then what? Provision, if this condition satisfied only, we should identify the provision in our accounting. We should pass the journal entry in relation to the provision. Otherwise, we can't record provision in our financial statement. Then what are the criteria should be satisfied? There should be a present obligation as a result of the past event. Think about the warranty. Think about the gratuity. Why there is a warranty? Because you have sold item with the warranty. You have sold item with the warranty for a 1 year period, then up to complete that 1 year period, you are liable to, you have obligation to do all repairs free of charge. That is the present obligation you have. Then probable that outflow of the resources to settle the obligation. When customer come with the repair under the warranty, yes, you have to repair it free of charge. You have to incur labor cost. You have to incur cost for the spare parts and the overhead. All are free of charge to the customer, but in your side is a 100% cost for you, right? So that's why we can say, yes, there is a probable outflow of the resources. Then reliable estimate. Yes, the thing is what in case of provision is still not happened, right? We don't have exact evidence. It will occur in future or not, but we have obligation. Then at least to record this provision in our financial statement, there should be reliable estimate. Reliable estimate, because you know that without figures, without amount, you can't pass the journal entry in the financial statement. Yeah. Then you know that there is a present obligation, and you have you have sold the item with the warranty, but amount and the timing is not sure. Then you have to make a provision subject to the reliable estimate. Reliable estimate. So therefore, that's why the recognition criteria for the provision is very important. Underline, the provision should be recognized when it has the present obligation as a result of the past event, and probable that there is outflow of the resources embodied in the economic benefit. That's why I told you, when you are going to settle it, you have to pay in cash, and also you have to incur all the cost free of charge. And reliable estimate, how much? I have simple word, I have used the word how much. You have to estimate with the reliable information, right? You know that. So then these are the criteria to be satisfied to identify the provision. Based on this, you should identify the provision for the warranty and provision for the gratuity, and even though the provision for the doubtful death also. Because in case, take that example, provision for the doubtful death, right? You have sold item, right? You have sold item, goods and the services on credit basis to your customers. Now, there is a balance amount as at 31st March, you have debtor balance 20 million. Now you know that in your past practice also, entire 20 million you can't collect. In your past experience over the period, you know that there is a percentage amount, the percentage, the small percentage, or sometimes it may be 1%, 2% or 5% amount you can't recover. Become a bad debt in future, right? But subject to that estimate, you have some doubt, or sometimes you are getting some information about your debtor. Some debtors are there permanently sick, and also then and some debtors are there, they are going to bankrupt. Then you have some doubt that whether you can collect that amount from that people or not. Therefore, as at the 31st March, you may have some obligation to, you have some loss on that. So that's why you are trying to make some provision for that, but still don't know what is the amount, but you have to estimate that one. So then any provision you apply in accounting, what is the general accounting treatment for the provision? The general accounting treatment in case of provision, you know that the expense account should be debit, the provision account should be credit, right? For example, if I apply the warranty expense account should be debit, and provision for warranty should be credit. This is the journal entry you want to pass, but to pass the journal entry, you know that amount you have to estimate subject to these conditions. It is a very important thing in case of provision, right? Now you know what is the difference between, according to the LKS 37, what is the meaning of provision, what is the meaning of liability, what is the difference between provision and the liability, and to identify the provision in accounting, what are the criteria to be satisfied. So therefore very important, because examiner has tested what are the criteria, recognition criteria related to provision. Always remember there is a present obligation, because a provision is a liability. That's why there is a present obligation as a result of the past event. When you are going to settle it, you have to incur the cash or any other resources. Then there is outflow in your organization, and definitely there should be a reliable estimate, right? Then after you applying this provision, you may decide the amount. Then you can pass this journal entry. Relevant expense account should be debit, identify to the income statement as expenditure, and provision account become a liability side. It should be credit to the financial statement, right? So then that is the criteria to be satisfied in case of the provision. Okay. Okay, so then question number 3, now you want to estimate the warranty cost according to the given information. First I will explain whether based on this information how you can analyze whether there is a provision or not, whether you can recognize the provision or not related to this situation. Because you know that what are the conditions to be satisfied in case of the provision. Again, in case of provision, number 1, there should be present obligation as a result of past events. Okay. Now if you apply this criteria to this question, yes, now there is a present obligation, because what is the present obligation? Is to repair obligation to, because they have sold item with warranty, right? So because sold, we can say electrical items with 6-month warranty, right? So this is the point you can identify here. Now you have present obligation to repair because of the warranty given for 6-month period for the electric items. Now what is the second one? Yes, there is a cash outflow, settlement. At the time of the settlement, there is a cash, we can say outflow, cash outflow. Yes, because the correcting, we can say, yes, you want to correcting the damage items, right? Need to incur cost for salaries, spare parts and overhead expenses, right? Because you know that, because when you are going to correct this damaged item, come with the warranty period, come within the warranty period, yes, definitely in your side you want to incur the labor cost, salaries and wages, you have to apply some spare parts, right? And also you want to incur some overhead expense like electricity, water, telephone, like that. So then building rent expense also can be applied. And number 3, yes, finally there should be reliable estimate. No, there should be a reliable estimate. That's why in this question has given different type of estimation. Yes, how you can identify this warranty cost, right? Then you have to apply very reliable estimate based on your past event, past experience. That's why in this question it says, they have applied some different basis of estimation, right? Because can you see, in case of the major defects, they are telling what? 20% of the goods sold. Let's see now, during the period we assume that you have sold 100 items. Out of this 100 items, 20% item become major defects. Then what is the value of this? How to value this 20% repair cost? How you can value? It says the total repair cost damage equipment are equal to 40% of the sale value. Yes. If you have sold 100 items during the period, yes, based on our past experience, still actual amount we don't know. We are going to now make a reliable estimate for our warranty cost. Because provision says, standard says, only these three conditions are satisfied, only you can make a provision. This is a very good question to understand entire provision concept given in this standard. Yes, now we have present obligation because we have sold equipment with the 6-month warranty. Yes, when you are going to settle, you have to correct these major defects and minor defects or damaged item by incurring cost. Yes, there is a cash outflow. Then how to do the reliable estimate for the future warranty cost? That's why you are telling, yes, we can estimate out of total goods sold, 20% become a major defects. The value may be equal to 40% of the sale value. Then the 30% are the major defects. Yes, if you sold the 100 items out of 30%, that means 30 items become what? It become a minor defects. Then how to value that? Yes, it is equal to 10% of the sale value related to warranties. So therefore, to identify the reliable estimate, you have given the different, we can say different, right? Different basis of estimations, right? Different basis of estimations. So therefore, what happened? After analyzing this entire situation, yes, we can say, yes, therefore, provision should be recognized for 6-month period. Right. It's a very good analysis, because in this question, examiner not asking to analyze the question, but for your information purpose, I have analyzed this question subject to the provision, the criteria given for the recognition of provision. Right? See, we identify present obligation because you have sold electric item with the 6-month warranty period. Then when you are going to, there should be at the time of the settlement, there is a outflow of resources embodying in the economic benefit. How there is outflow? Because when you are going to correct, when you are going to repair, the damaged item come with the warranty. You have to incur the cost for the salaries, wages, spare parts, and the other overhead. It's an expense for you. It's a cash outflow from the organization. And reliable estimate. Yes, we want to analyze by looking at the past experience, past records. We can apply some basis to estimate the warranty cost in future. So that's why I explained in this question has analyzed out of this major defect, the defects come under the warranty period, we can divide it into two: major defects, minor defects. Then to decide the value, you identify the percentage out of the goods sold, and you have given the value and other percentage out of the sale figures. Right. Now we want to evaluate what is the warranty cost as at 31st March 2018 according to the given figures. Right. We can calculate, we can identify like this. The calculation of warranty provision number 1 to repair major defects equal, what is the total sale value? The total sale value is 60 million. Total sale value is 60 million. Then we want to take out of 60 million, because you know that the warranty provision we are giving only for the 6-month period. So therefore we want to take 6-month sale for this computation. Take 6 months, divide by 12 and multiply 6. Then you know that according to the information given, the out of total goods sold during the period, the major defects is equal to 20%. Yes, 20%. And out of this 20%, to identify the warranty cost of this 20%, it is equal to 40% of the sale value. 40% of the sale value. So then we can identify here what is the figure warranty provision, what is the amount we can allocate for the major defects for the warranty provision. Now come to the second one, to repair minor defects. Minor defects, right? So then again you can take 60 million, divide 12, multiply 6, and also the minor defects, it is equal to 30% of total goods sold, and it is equal to 10% of total sale value. Then now you can calculate what is the warranty provision separately. The amount should recognize as a warranty provision for the major defects and minor defects. Yes, 2.4 million for the major defects. Yes, 0.9 million. The total provision cost $3.3 million. 3.3 million. Right? If I further analyze this, because this is the estimation, this is the reliable estimation given in this question. Right? Now I am doing this third part. According to this reliable estimation, the examiner has given the different basis to identify this repair cost. That is the major defects. They divided into two, major defects and minor defects. The estimation level is what? Out of total items sold, 20% is the major defects, and it is the value for the warranty cost is equal to 40% of the sale value. Then remember, because we are giving 6-month warranty, this 60 million is the entire year sale value. Then you can't apply entire 60 million for this percentage. You want to take only half year, that means 6-month sale. That's why I adjust for the 6-month sale this entire 60 million. For the minor defects also the same. So then the warranty cost for the major defects we can identify 2.4 million and minor defects 0.9 million. Total warranty provision, the warranty provision is equal to 3.3 million. So how you can record this? As at 31st March 2018, you can say warranty cost or warranty expense debit 3.3 million provision for warranty credit 3.3 million. Right? This is the way you want to recognize this warranty cost into the financial statement for the year ended 31st March 2018. Recognize always expense to P&L income statement, and to the provision as a liability you must credit the same amount. Right. So then you can understand with the warrant, the LKS 37 subject to these examples also, right? So therefore very important thing is what, in case of this LKS 37, provision is the most important part, because provision we want to apply in our normal practice also. So therefore provision, always remember, we should evaluate subject to these three criteria. Always check according to the given information, try to identify whether it has created the present obligation to the organization or not. Then after that, identify at the time of the settlement whether there is a cash outflow or whether there is a resources outflow from the organization or not. Then always there should be a reliable estimate. Reliable estimate, because why? The amount and the time is not sure. So therefore we have to apply, we should apply definitely the estimate, but that estimate should be the reliable one. So this is the example for the estimation we have applied and also calculated the provision in case of warranty. This is the way you want to record the provision, right? Subject to the warranty, always, as I explained, any provision, the journal entry should be the relevant expense account you debit to the P&L, recognized to the income statement as expenditure, and provision should be recognized as a liability. It must credit to the same amount, right? Okay, so then LKS 37 also we can complete like this, and remember the areas we already discussed, provision, liability and contingent liability. Because examiner can test sometimes, examiner can ask what is the difference between liability and provision. So in that case you explain the provision first and liability separately. So then identify what is the major difference is what time and the amount is not certain in case of provision, but liability is always certain, right? Possible, the contingent liability, always there is a what? Possible obligation, because its occurrence or non-occurrence will depend on the future event, but totally out of the control with the organization, right? Okay, thank you.